oh, just pray more, just read the Bible more, that type of stuff. That was all thrown at me, it will get better. I remember somebody telling me one time, if you just give your control over to God, then you won't feel this way. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing wrong? Because I'm doing everything you're asking me to do. And yeah, I want to kill myself even more.
Hey there, my name is Sean, and this is Suicide Noted. On this podcast, I talk with suicide attempt survivors so that we can hear their stories. Every year around the world, millions of people try to take their own lives, and we almost never talk about it. We certainly don't talk about it enough. And when we do talk about it, many of us, including me, we're not very good at it. So one of my goals with this podcast is to have more conversations, and hopefully better conversations with attempt survivors, in large part to help more people in more places hopefully feel a little less shitty and a little less alone. Now, if you are a suicide attempt survivor and you'd like to talk, please reach out. hello@suicidenoted.com, on Facebook or X @suicidenoted. And if you'd like to learn more about the podcast, you can check the show notes. That includes our membership. You can find a link. We'd love that kind of support. But however you're supporting us, involved with us, participating, listening, I really appreciate it. Oh, and one more thing. You can rate and review this podcast, Suicide Noted, of course. That helps people find it. And of course, we want more people to find it. Finally, we are talking about suicide here on the Suicide Noted podcast, and I don't hold back, so please take that into account before you listen or as you listen. But I do hope you listen because there is so much to learn. Today, I am talking with S. S lives in North Carolina, and she is a suicide attempt survivor. Hey, S. Where are you?
I'm in my house right now.
In where in the country?
Oh, I'm in North Carolina, in Wilmington.
Okay. Do you know where I live?
Are you in Raleigh?
No, yeah, I'm in Chapel Hill.
Okay, I know you're in North Carolina. I didn't know where exactly.
Can you walk to the beach?
I actually can.
Ooh, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yes.
What do I see behind you? Is that a kitchen?
Yeah, there's like restaurant shelving and stuff in there. It's all one room. We've got a living room and kitchen together, and then
Who's we?
bedrooms on the side. It's my parents' house. They live here about half the time, but they work in another city, so.
Okay. So I want to read part of the email that you sent to me. I haven't listened in a while, but would love to be on the podcast. Attempted last year, which we'll talk about. We emailed a little bit earlier this year, but I was not in the right headspace, but I'm more ready now. So that is the question I want to start with beyond, well, I should just say thank you for joining me. I get excited about my questions. So you said you attempted last year, and is that because of the attempt in part, that wasn't the right time, the headspace, too soon?
I can't remember exactly when I first reached out, but I think it was a little too fresh. I think it might have been in February that I had originally talked with you about recording something. I attempted in October of last year, so I was still kind of dealing with a lot of just trying to process everything.
Right. So October of last year was the attempt, and then earlier this year, you find the podcast.
I've been listening to it for a while before.
So sometime prior, you're looking for something with suicide in it. So this isn't a totally new thing for you.
No.
Well, thank God you find this podcast because it's pretty fucking good. Let's just be honest. A little bit of a weird mood. I might say some stupid shit, but I guess I can edit myself a whole bunch too. And nobody gets to hear it except for us. But sometimes I leave some weird shit in. They're like, what the fuck was that? I'm like, it's my podcast. You can hit pause if you don't like it.
There you go.
Do you remember why you were looking for something, whether it's a podcast or not, on suicide back in the day?
Yeah, I was actually looking for some insight on what to include in a suicide note if I were to write one. Yes.
The title of this sounds perfect for that.
Exactly. Surprisingly, I did not find much content.
Right. You're not going to find a lot of content on that. I guess if you listen to these episodes enough, you might find a nugget or two. You never know.
Because I was like, I don't know what to leave in a note. I was like, this might give me some information on that. And then I was like, maybe I'm not as crazy as I feel like I am right now, because there's a lot of other people having these similar experiences. So.
Well, good. You're in your early 20s?
Yeah, I'm 22.
22. beach, sandals, suicide. Sand, sandals, and suicide. Worst memoir title ever. Like ever.
I love it.
If it's your memoir title, I might have to just pull your episode. I can't be associated with that. Did you already have a memoir title for yourself in mind before we started talking? Honest, tell me.
No, but I like that.
Well, then I might have to end this conversation early because it's not good. If I have any say in your title, it's not that. Where do we begin? I mean, we have the attempt. Do we talk about what led up to the attempt? Do we talk about your childhood? Where do we begin? Do you want me to just start asking a bunch of questions?
Yeah, that'd be great.
How about this one? Do you remember the first time you started to seriously contemplate ending your life?
Yes, I think I was in middle school at the time. Probably whatever I would have attempted at that point probably wouldn't have worked. I spent a lot of time over the past couple years researching methods. I didn't want to try anything until I was pretty sure that it would work. So anything that I did as a teenager, or like not teenager, but as a middle schooler, was probably not going to be very well thought out.
Well, here's a hard question. Do you know why you were contemplating ending your life?
I don't really know what sparked it. I remember my grandma attempted when I was a teenager. I don't know how old I was when that happened, but at that point I was like, oh, this is a thing people do, and it's an escape, sort of. She's still with us, but she did attempt.
Did you tell anybody back in middle school that you were thinking about that?
I don't think so. I think I had something that had been, me and my brother had a computer we shared at the time, and I think I left something concerning open on the computer, and he showed it to my parents at one point, but they were just like, why are you not happy with your life and things like that. And we had a little bit of a discussion, and I think we tried to get me around more people and more plugged into like social settings and stuff, because I was kind of a loner. So
Were you a gamer?
no.
What were you doing with your time?
I was really into music.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Got a favorite band?
I've been listening to a lot of Bob Dylan recently.
All right.
Yeah.
So you like some old classic stuff.
Yeah.
Is this conversation a bit of a secret?
I have 2 friends who know about it. I haven't told many people though. I may after the fact, but partially I didn't want people to try and persuade me not to. I didn't really know what the reaction would be. I have 2 friends though I'd kind of talked to about this before.
Shout out to
Kara and Red.
Kara and Red.
Yes.
So between 13 when you started thinking about it until 21 when you actually attempted, you got about 8 years there, more or less.
Yeah.
Rocky? Difficult?
Not terrible, I wouldn't say. I think things started to get pretty bad when I was around, I want to say 19 or 20, I believe. I had moved here in 2020 from a smaller town outside of Raleigh. I did not like it. Yeah, after I moved here, things kind of went to shit. I had some interesting involvement with some religious groups here. A nice way of saying it is they're very high control religious groups. I like to call it a cult. People involved in it do not like to call it a cult, naturally.
Right. Most people in the cult don't call it a cult.
They don't like the fact that I call it a cult.
You got out?
I did get out, yeah. After the attempt, I got out because they did not like the fact that I tried to kill myself, and they started like not ignoring me, but kind of just like not really communicating with me anymore. And one of my friends who actually, she's left since, she was like, I think they used that as like punishment for you attempting suicide. So I left pretty soon after that.
Are we allowed to name the cult?
It's called Church of the Risen Christ.
That's creative.
Yeah.
So this is a Christian-based cult?
Yes.
What are some characteristics of this non-cult cult?
They have some very extreme beliefs. They don't like you being involved with other groups or social settings. They like you to be very involved. Like, don't spend a lot of time with people who aren't involved in this group. Gosh, they had some crazy beliefs around men and women's roles in the family. Also about mental illness, which I'm sure I'll get into at some point, but that's kind of how I got involved with them through they were friends of friends who were involved in it. I had bad experiences with therapy in the past, and so they were really big into biblical counseling. Kind of wrote me in that way. They just treat mental illness as like a completely spiritual problem. They don't like medicine or regular therapy or anything like that.
Yeah, that's a cult.
Yeah, definitely.
So how long were you in the cult?
About 10 months, I think.
During the time in the cult is when you tried.
Yes, towards the end of that time. It's almost like they created problems for me that were not really problems and then tried to be the solution to those. I talked to them a little bit about kind of like struggling with my sexuality, and they took that as, oh, let's try and make you straight, basically. There was that where there's like it's not really a problem, but they're making it a they're saying, oh, the fact that you're gay is an issue, and so let us be the solution to that. So they kind of taught me to like hate myself because that's my reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was interesting, and then all their attempts of like hearing me or whatever, making me not depressed and such, it didn't really work. So I ended up going to the hospital at one point even before the attempt.
What happened there?
Well, I saw a therapist, a real therapist, which was nice. I was there for like almost 2 weeks, actually. I had a good experience. I was the first time I was like around people who I could relate to on a lot of things. So after that, they started the cult didn't like the fact that I had gone to the hospital. So
If it's not a cult sponsored hospital, you're in big trouble.
yeah, exactly.
Church of the Risen Christ. CRC.
Yeah, CRC, that's what they call themselves.
CRC. You could almost, which is also Costa Rica, by the way, not relevant. This flag of Costa Rica just happens to be their flag or their logo. I'm calling bullshit on that. But it's Costa Rica's before it was the Church of the Risen Christ.
Correct.
So you get out of the hospital, and how much time after that did you actually attempt?
It was about 2 months because I ended up going to the hospital set me up with some kind of outpatient program where I'd go like Monday through Friday for like 4 hours a day in group therapy and stuff. I actually went to the hospital again the next month, and I wasn't really getting much support from the treatment I was in. I checked myself in, got my meds adjusted a month later, and then the following month is when I had attempted.
How did you attempt?
I took a bunch of Benadryl.
Why'd
Yeah.
you choose that day?
Well, it's kind of like a dealing with the ideations every day kind of thing, juggling it. And then I was also struggling a lot with self-harm or just to like cut myself and everything. And so the place that I was going to group therapy at, they had like a phone number you could call, and it was all DBT based. So they're trying to help you use your DBT skills and everything. So it was like the coaching phone you could call, and they would kind of help you through crisis situations. So I'd gone to work that day. I was working at a after school care, I think, at the time. I had really wanted to cut myself. I didn't yet. I had scratched myself on my arm, tiny little scratch. I left work. I called the coaching phone. I told them I was under the impression that their rule was if you attempted suicide, then you couldn't use the coaching phone for 24 hours if you made any lethal attempts. Not really sure why, but I called them and they said, "Did you intentionally scratch yourself?" And I was like, "Yes, like that's why I'm calling you." And they're like, "Well, we can't talk to you for 24 hours because you intentionally hurt yourself. So you need to promise that you're going to be safe through the evening until you come back to group the next day."
Hold up. Tell me I understand something. This isn't the cult.
This is not. This is a actual treatment facility in Wilmington.
Outpatient.
Yes.
So if you're struggling and they deem you doing something because you're struggling as a self-harm, let me understand. Can't being a contraction for cannot. Sorry, I'm being a little dramatic here. Not if you've self-harmed or you're going to hurt yourself, very much call us. Call us before you call anybody. We're trained professionals. It is instead, do not call us. Wait 24 hours. And in that time, fucking good luck. How many people kill themselves in those 24 hours? It's just a wonder. One wonders. Could be zero. Probably not.
Yeah.
You did not.
But so then I get off the phone and she's like, and it was my therapist who had answered the phone, which was a little weird to me. You know, it was different therapists there, but whatever. So she's like, "Yeah, you just have to promise. Can you promise that you're going to be safe tonight?" And I was like, "Yeah, no." I knew in my mind, no. I'm just lying to her. So I get off the phone. I went to the store, bought some razors and like cut my arm up pretty bad, put a jacket on, went to a cult meeting. I think on my way home, I bought the Benadryl. Both my parents were home, so I, went in, gave them both a hug, told them love them, good night, went in my room, and I sent a text to a couple people. Like, probably could have guessed it was like a goodbye text.
You searched podcast platforms for the kind of note you should leave.
Mhm.
You did not find that. So the text, was that also from research, or did you just figure it out on the go?
I
Love
just told them
Yeah.
thank you for what I thought was helpful. It was actually people that I don't communicate with anymore that I had texted that night.
All right. And so are your parents absolutely have no idea what's about to happen?
Correct. They knew I had a hard day, but
And is this taking place in the home that we're talking right now?
yes.
It's got a very cool, I don't think this is too identifying, like aqua blue door. I like that color. Is that the front door to the house?
Yes.
It's very a beach vibe.
Yeah, definitely.
You send the text. Does anybody text back?
No, not until later. I used to have a couch in my room, so I ended up getting rid of it after this because it was very triggering for me. Yeah, because I was sitting on my couch just taking all the pills, and after probably like 25 minutes after that, I was starting to feel real tired. Shocker, just took
Shocker.
grams of Benadryl.
Right.
But I realized I looked at my phone and I was like, oh shit, it's my mom's birthday today. I was like shaking. I walked in my parents' room holding the bottle. All I remember is I said, I can't die on your birthday.
What'd they say?
They asked me how much I took, and I was like, oh, I don't know. So my mom's out like counting the pills on the table to see how much. I think she called poison control. I was like, I would never have thought of that. So like, good for you. But she's talking on the phone, and then she was like, see how much you can throw up before we go to the hospital. So I'm like in the bathroom, like trying to make myself throw up.
What's your dad doing?
I'm not exactly sure.
Was your mom kind of relaxed? Not relaxed. Is she kind of chill? Or was she freaking out?
She was freaking out.
Right. I mean, that's what I imagine most people would do.
Yeah.
Did you want to go to the hospital?
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to die, but I didn't want it to happen on my mom's birthday. So once I realized, oh shit, it's her birthday, I can't do this now. That kind of snapped me out of it. I wasn't planning on backing out,
Maybe a weird question, but I'm wondering why. Not why you didn't want to do it on your mom's birthday. Like, why'd you want to kill yourself?
I never really had any kind of sense of like what I'd like to do with my life. And I was also kind of crushed under the weight of the cult's demands and everything they wanted me to be. I wasn't really thinking a lot about what I actually wanted out of life. I knew I didn't want to live that way, but I think I almost viewed it as this is my only choice. I can't really make life any different than this for me. I feel like emotions very deeply. I tend to try to find some way to escape that.
Right.
Whether it's self-harm or planning suicide or whatever.
Drinking drugs?
No, none of that.
So you go to the hospital.
I had a seizure on the way to the hospital, so I don't remember anything for a couple days.
Okay. So you don't really remember what happened in the hospital, but you came out, you're alive. And
I think I was in a medical hospital for like 5 days, and then they sent me to psych hospital.
For how long?
Like 6 days, I think. It wasn't super long.
5 days in the medical hospital. I mean, you must have taken a lot of Benadryl.
3 or 4 times the lethal dose.
Wow. So any permanent damage there?
No. I was delirious for a couple of days.
Right.
I remember bits and pieces of it. My family has kind of told me about some of the things that I was saying and stuff like that. I don't remember a whole lot of it.
Hold up. I see a dog. What kind of dog do you have?
She's a Boston Terrier mix.
What's her name?
Florence.
Cute dog. So you stay 5 days medical, 5 plus days psych, get out. Last year, what is it, fall, winter?
Yeah, it was October.
Tried since? No.
No. It was pretty clear after that. I was like, something switched for me. I was like, I don't really want to die. I still have had a lot of thoughts since then, but it's kind of in a different way. I think I understand that it's always an impulsive thing for me. I never really waited out a long time. There's times where I'm like, oh, I'd really like to kill myself right now, but I know if I wait like 3 days, I'll be fine.
You do the DBT work or no?
Not really. I mean, the place that I was at kind of sucked, obviously.
Right. So the DBT you don't do much or it doesn't help much. You take meds.
I do. I really don't like it, but I'm on very minimal. I've had bad reactions to a lot of meds. Like, there was one I had tried last December. It actually caused really bad, like, suicidal ideations to the point where I was hospitalized again. I didn't want to, but I just couldn't get the thoughts out of my head. So
Mhm.
I'm very wary of medications, but I am still on some. I also did TMS treatment, which was game changer for me.
Really?
Yeah. The psychiatrist who I saw outpatient before I attempted, he was starting a clinic. I was actually their first client. They get you to have an MRI first, and then they're able to target this specific part in your brain that they're looking for. So it was very effective. Helped a lot with my depression.
TMS.
Transcranial magnetic stimulation.
Damn. Does it hurt?
It hurt a little bit, but it wasn't bad.
Like you go for like a month every day?
I think I had to go to 36 sessions, and you could choose different amounts of time that you would be, and it would just be more intense if you chose a shorter amount of time. So I chose the 3-minute version, which was a little intense. Yeah.
So I'm glad that helped. That's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
What is your life like? What are your days like?
I'm actually in eating disorder treatment right now.
Wait a second. Hold up.
Wait a second. That didn't come up in what led up to your suicide attempt?
It wasn't really bad at that point. I actually had really bad GI issues last year, which kind of ended up being mostly anxiety, and I didn't know that. So all last summer I was not able to keep food down barely at all. So that made me kind of blocked a little bit out of my memory, but that made the ideations pretty bad because I could do nothing but lay in bed and eat very little, and most of it I would throw up. So after that kind of started to get better, then I had a history of eating disorders in the past, but it kind of been a little more controlled. I never got treatment for it though. So actually after I attempted, when I was in the hospital, another patient convinced me that I had an eating disorder and was like, you really need to get treatment.
So now you're able to work on that.
Yes.
So
But I graduate next week from the program that I'm in, and I'm going to college this fall. Yeah, I'm gonna study music therapy.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm envious, actually. I want to go into that program too. Play a little Bob Dylan for someone who's not. You never know how that might help. Helped you.
It really did. That's how I decided to go into that after, because they had music therapy sessions in the hospital a couple times when I was there. And, I'd heard about the profession before, but really didn't know anything about it. But it was very helpful to me. So then I started looking into it and applied and everything. So
Are there a lot of programs?
there's 2 public universities and 1 private in North Carolina that offer the degree.
Oh, that's cool. So a question that I wanted to ask earlier on, but I forgot.
I know how you found the podcast. I know you heard the podcast. Did I actually ask you why you wanted to talk with me?
I don't think so.
I don't think I did either.
I really liked listen. I don't listen much now just because sometimes it can be difficult for me to hear a lot of people's stories. It was very helpful to me, and probably when I was at rock bottom, just to feel like somebody else can understand. I like being able to talk about my experience, but I know it's also difficult for people who are in my life to talk about it at times, and since they're a part of it or around me and impacted by it as well. So I like the idea of talking to a stranger. Maybe someone will benefit. I feel like I'm kind of on the other side of it now,
I'm sure they will. And if you do out there hear us, let me know. I guess you're more likely to have my contact information unless she wants me to. Tell me. I mean, it happens once in a while, but I wouldn't mind a few more here and there, if you know what I mean. So you don't talk about this stuff on social media much?
No, I'm not really on much social media. I'm on Facebook, but
Facebook? What are you, like 50?
I got it so I could keep in touch with people from I actually made a lot of friends in psych hospitals. So
Right.
I keep in touch with a lot of people who I was in different levels of treatment with, but I don't have much social media because it's hard for me to have limits on certain things. I'm not good with moderation.
Interesting little perk, if you will, and there aren't typically many of staying in a facility like that, is that you make some friends sometimes.
Yes, I have some good friends that I still keep in touch with.
That's cool. So you're in the clear. Pink and purple pill question. So the question is, I give you a pill right now. You could take it or save it or throw it out, and you have a peaceful death right now. or maybe tonight. Nobody knows it's a suicide, no pain, guaranteed to work. What do you do with the pill?
I would not take it tonight. I don't know that I would want to keep it though. I don't know.
Well, you could just throw it out.
Yeah, but that's also kind of giving up your one chance at this. So I don't know. I don't know if I would like that to be an option for me in the future.
I just won't give you the pill.
Thanks.
You ever lose anyone to suicide?
No, luckily I have not.
How many people in the world know about that attempt other than, how many?
I would say quite a few probably. My immediate family, a couple of my mom's friends know.
Red.
Red knows.
And what are
Karen knows.
Karen and Red, shout out number 2.
Yes, everybody in the cult knows.
Not shouting out the cult.
I would say I'm pretty open about it with people that I'm close with. I don't know. Right now, a lot of my friends are people that I've been in treatment with for eating disorders. So we're in group therapy together every day, pretty much. So they know a lot of my a lot of my shit, you know.
So you have people to talk to.
Yeah, I do have people to talk to.
Even if you use the S word?
Yeah.
And just so we're clear, because this has come up before, the S word is in this context is not sand, it is not surf, it is not sandal, and it is not something else. So are we clear what I'm talking about or referring to?
We're clear.
Yes, okay. I figured. But especially for listeners who like English might not be their first language, they might be in another country. They're like, the S word. So you got some good shit going for you.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, like, I'm not going to ask if you're happy. It's a dumb question, right? Is that really the goal? I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Come on. I hear a whole lot of Dylan songs talking about how fucking happy he is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just don't know Dylan very well. So you got a formal diagnosis of you have an eating disorder, depression? Was that the other one?
Yes.
From the day you tried till this moment, have you ever wished, damn, I wish that I'd worked?
There have been times where I wish that.
When was the last time? How long ago? Did you feel like, have you had a few weeks or months where you're like, I don't really think about it like that anymore?
Yeah, it's probably been a couple months.
If you bullshitted me at all during this talk, you think I'd be able to tell?
Probably. They love it when I'm in treatment because eating disorder treatment, a lot of people try and be sneaky and hide things and whatever, but I always end up telling on myself. I can't do it. I'm like, I want to recover. I know this isn't helping me.
Music helps. Does anything else help?
I like writing. I write some really dark poetry at times. So
Oh, you think that'll make the memoir somewhere?
maybe. There's some stuff I'm like, yeah, people probably shouldn't read this.
You never know, though, right? You don't know who needs to hear. I mean, they don't want to hear this shit, but they do.
That's true. I feel like as long as it's not, they know there's some distance from the time that I had written those things. Otherwise, they may be concerned. I think it does help to hear other people's very honest experiences. So you're right about that.
So you're 22. When's your birthday?
June 5th.
So you are just 22.
Yes.
Is that a Gemini?
I think so. I'm not real big on the signs.
I don't know why I keep referencing astrology on this podcast. No, it's not an astrology podcast. Can you imagine if somebody were looking for an astrology podcast and stumbled upon this? They wouldn't listen for very long, I don't think.
I don't think so.
Also, read the damn name. It's clear-ish.
Yeah, it's pretty clear.
So
even though it did not give me advice on what to write.
Yeah, I'll give you some thoughts on the note, but I think you're doing just fine on your own. You got the text going, dark poetry.
Drafted several notes. I just didn't think of it in the actual moment, you know? Was
there anything that was apparent or clear in every draft? Was there always like the same beginning, the same end?
It was pretty similar. Don't blame yourself. You know, that type of thing. I don't know who was writing to, but there was one point last summer where I was like, the only reason I'm not attempting tonight is because I have no paper to write a note on. Which would have been an easy fix and is also hilarious considering I did not leave an actual note when I did try.
Any myths or misconceptions around anything that's come up that you want to call bullshit on? And I want to hear it.
Not like that's come up in the podcast, but I don't think that's what you're asking, right?
Sean, I think most of what you stand for is fucking bullshit.
I was like, I don't think that's how it usually goes.
It's like usually bullshit around people's thoughts on suicide or whatever, you know, that kind of. What makes when you hear it or experience it, you're like, that's fucking bullshit.
Oh, just pray more, just read the Bible more, that type of stuff. That was all thrown at me, you know? It will get better. I remember somebody telling me one time, like, you know, if you just give your control over to God, then you won't feel this way. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing wrong? Because I'm doing everything you're asking me to do. And yeah, I want to kill myself even more because I'm involved in this group, basically.
Do you remember? I know this can be like really hard, but do you remember when it kind of started to switch where it was like, because you don't usually join a group that's like that unless you wouldn't join it, probably. Do you remember you're like, I don't know
Like
about
when I
this.
saw the red flags.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know they're red at the time, probably, but sure. Because I don't know that much about cults.
Honestly, I didn't see a whole lot of things until after I did leave because someone said something that kind of pissed me off and it was just I disagreed with the way they approached something. It wasn't terrible. And so I didn't go for a week and then my friend who's left also, I was texting with her and was like, yeah, I'm kind of sketched out by certain things. I just don't like the way it's going. And then she started unloading and like telling me a bunch of crazy stuff that I had no idea about. So, but also I was kind of, I was 21 or no, I was 20 at the time. I was very struggling a lot mentally. I didn't have a great relationship with my immediate family, which I have a much better relationship with them now. I didn't have much support from like friends, not a lot of social support, and I also had bad experiences with therapy, so I wasn't going to try that again at the time. So I was kind of just looking for somebody to look out for me and tell me what to think and how to look at certain things, and I got exactly that, but got what I was looking for. Wasn't what I needed though.
That sounds like a Dylan line right there. That really sounds like a Dylan line. And I mean, you could argue nothing's really that original, right? People just borrow ideas.
Yeah.
What else do you want to share? Literally, I may never talk to you again. Right? It's possible. What else to this audience, wherever you are out there, and thank you for listening, by the way. And you should rate and review this podcast. Okay, stay on track, Sean. And you should consider joining as a member. Check the show notes. What else would you like to share with me just to say aloud?
I wrote a poem about the night that I attempted. If I could read that, that would be great.
Not only can you read it, I'll probably open with that. Okay, we got the poem towards the end of the conversation. Nice little way to sum it up, right? Love it.
Yep. Okay, so it's called That Night. Fresh cuts on my arm, burn with that post-harm guilt. A shredded forearm, wow, you deserve this, echoes in my mind. I can't wait to destroy this fortress I thought I built. Eager to eradicate the shame and responsibility I've claimed as my own, but they don't rightly belong to me. The switch flips and I lose all rationality. Autopilot activated with one mission, destroy me. I hear the beeping of the self-checkout. $30 and some change for the biggest bottle of escape I could find. Hugs for mama and daddy, text for one friend and 4 fake ones. It's time, I'm ready. Handful of water, repeat. I snap back to reality, walk to their bedroom door, holding the bottle of escape. Hand shaking. I taste the pink when I try to throw up. Put my purple slides on, sit in the front seat. Throw up, seize, fast forward 2 days. Vision's blurry. They ask, do you know where you're at? Do you know what month it is? Over and over. Misunderstandings, pity texts, isolation and frustration. My phone rings. This is Alexa from Delta. How much did you take? 4 grams, I tell her. Did you just give in to the thoughts? No, you drove me here. But I say yes. Conversation over. She'll never know. I'll never know how my dad went to work 10 hours later. What I said in the middle of the hallucinations. I wish I didn't know what it felt like to give up on giving up. That may be the strongest thing I ever did. Giving up on giving up.
Giving up on giving up. Okay, done. So wait, to say you're giving up on giving up means you're trying to live.
Yeah. That's how I describe the asking for my parents to take me to the hospital, walking in, handing them the bottle. Because for a while I was like, I can't believe I didn't even do it right. I tried and I didn't. I couldn't even, I couldn't even do it correctly. But I'm trying to look at that as a good thing.
Giving up on giving up, the bottle of escape. I'm just saying, let that resonate. Let that sit with you. Like, just let it marinate there for the next several years. And when you want to revisit that memoir, give me a call. Thank you for sharing that poem, and thank you for everything you shared.
Yeah, thank you.
What's the rest of your night like here in North Carolina?
Not much. I just got home from treatment and logged on, so probably just kind of get ready for class tomorrow. So
do your thing, listen to some music, play with your dog, all good things.
Yeah.
Do you think one more shout out? Or is it Karen and Red?
Kara and Red, yeah.
Kara and Red, are they going to hear it?
Yeah, they've asked to hear it when it's ready, so.
All right, and all right, so at least there's a few people, maybe more, that will hear it, which is, I don't know. I mean, either way, I think it's just kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
Well, thank you for talking with me. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. I actually very much enjoy talking to people about suicide. Go figure.
Cool.
All right. Have a good night. I'll talk to you soon, and thanks again.
Sounds good. Thank you. Bye-bye.
As always, thanks so much for listening and all of your support. And special thanks to S in North Carolina. Thanks, S. If you are a suicide attempt survivor and you'd like to talk, please reach out. hello@suicidenoted.com. You can also reach us on Facebook or X @Suicide Noted. If you'd like to learn more about the podcast, check the show notes. That includes our membership. And of course, we'd love that kind of support, however you're involved, whatever you're up to. Thank you. And that is all for episode number 232. Stay strong. Do the best you can. I'll talk to you soon.